Lines of code scrolled to life at the edges of his vision, like old green terminal output flashing faster and faster. Access level, illegal requester, Zeng Wei, orphan process permission tree, corrupt stability risk, critical continue? He exhaled. Continue. The ground under his hands hummed. He felt it before he saw it. The entire village, every rope that Han had run, every copper line, every snapped ribbon, lit up in his mind's eye as if someone had just poured liquid neon through it. He felt Yun tying off a final loop around an irrigation stone and, with that knot, the circle closed. His pulse kicked. There you are. There, he whispered. That's the border. That's Tianlin. He dug his hands into the dirt. Mark, he said. His voice dropped into something he barely recognized, low and resonant. Everything inside this perimeter is instance, Tianling ritual zone. Temporary. Untouchable. Eyes off. Hands off. Do not roll back. Do not purge. Do not rewrite. Flag is under review. There was a pause. He felt heaven hesitate. The pause was not long. But it was there. He felt it ripple out from him like pressure. He felt it run along the copper lines Han had rigged, flick across Yun's talismans like wind through prayer flags, hum up the bell tower's spine and across the roof lines, and back down through the dirt under his palms. Response, said the system. Pending. Then, like an animal baring its teeth, unauthorized. The earth bucked under his knees. His eyes snapped open. The sky above Tianlin flickered. For a heartbeat, he didn't see blue. He saw white, blinding, endless, layered, and a clean vertical line opening across it. Roll back, he thought. It's starting. Han, he yelled. It's early. It's already starting. Han swore, beautifully, fluently, with true professional artistry. Everyone inside the ropes, he roared, voice cracking like a whip. Drop what you're doing and get inside the line now. The square erupted in motion. Children were scooped up. Tools were dropped. Baskets were abandoned. The old man with the milky eyes stumbled. Two teenagers grabbed him, one under each arm, and dragged him toward the line of copper and rope ringing the village. A woman yanked a boiling pot off the fire with her bare hands and ran, teeth gritted in pain. Someone screamed for their sister. Someone else shouted, "Where is the baby? Where is the baby?" Yun sprinted for the edge of the patties. Qian, Zeng shouted. There's a boy still in the channel. She threw over her shoulder without breaking stride. Fight bolted after her like a streak of white lightning. Han faded and moved toward the rope. He moved outward. Sword already in his hand. Zeng felt the air pressure change before he saw what Han saw. They're here, he realized. The patch didn't just push rollback early. It sent teeth. Three shapes dropped from the forming seam in the sky, fast enough to blur. These weren't scouts like before. They weren't hunter humanoid either. These moved like beasts. Gleaming bodies, too many jointed limbs, masks of mirrored light, down the slope in a controlled fall, striking ground with no splash, no dust. They didn't roar. They ran. Straight for the village. No, Zeng snarled, and without thinking, he reached out and grabbed the forming crack in the sky. Not physically. With authority. With anger. It burned. He felt something tear in him, not his body, not nerves, but whatever lived underneath the body. White pain, absolute, crashed down his spine. He tasted metal. His vision fractured. But the crack in the sky spasmed. The descending beasts staggered, their perfect predatory coordination lurching offbeat for half a second. Half a second was all Han needed. He met the first one with a step that didn't make sense. For a blink he wasn't in front of him, then he was, and his sword was already in motion. The blade sang, not air, not metal, something thinner and keener, and cut not limb, not mask, but that same invisible tether he'd cut in the archive. The beast convulsed mid-stride and went down skidding, breaking apart into shards of light that tried to reassemble and failed. Han pivoted. Two left, he shouted. I can count, Zeng yelled back, which was unfair, because he absolutely could not right now. The world around him had gone into overdrive. Every line of code in the air screamed. Every copper line Han had strung buzzed so hard he thought they would melt. The boundary around Tianlin flickered between visible and invisible as if reality couldn't decide whether to recognize it. And over all of it, like a cold hand closing around his skull. The system's voice rollback initiated. Region, Tianling 87 begin purge. No, he hissed. You wait. He slammed both palms into the ground. Instance create, he said again, voice breaking. Manual. Override. Tianling ritual zone. Mark. The world hit him like a truck. It wasn't light, this time. It was weight. For one shattering heartbeat, he felt the entire village settle onto him like a load. Not metaphor. Physical. The mass of every roof tile. The packed earth of every dike. The stone of every threshold. The bell tower's old, cracked spine. The pots, the water jars, the string of drying chilies under Madame Shen's eaves, the wooden basins, the stools, the low tables, the woven mats, the baskets, the goat tethered behind Yun's house, the rickety ladder someone had built 20 years ago and never fixed properly. All of it. All the small things that make a place a home. And beneath that, heavier, every memory embedded in those objects. Every laugh. Every argument. Every fever Yun had treated on that bench. Every song someone's grandfather had hummed while sharpening a blade. Every whispered prayer spoken into folded hands when no one was looking. It slammed into him and threw him and nearly drove him into the dirt. He screamed. He didn't hear it. He didn't hear anything for a moment, but the pulse of the world and his own voice layered through it. Mine, 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 mine. The system bucked. Then, like metal under heat, it bent. Alert, illegal instance created. Zone, Tianling ritual zone protected. Flag, temporary. Hands off. The crack in the sky above Tianling hiccuped. The rolling white light of rollback paused like someone had frozen a wave mid-break. Han Fei, blade up, barked a laugh into the air. Yes. One of the hunters, beast forms, too many limbs, lunged for the copper line. It hit the boundary and rebounded like it had slammed a wall full speed. The impact sent a shockwave back through its body. Limbs spasmed. Its masked face split down the middle with a horrible blast shriek, and static poured out like smoke. Bad dog, Han shouted, and cut that one cleanly, one-handed. The third beast swerved around him. Straight toward Yun. She had the boy from the irrigation channel slung across her shoulders, bare feet pounding through mud. Bite raced in tight circles around her heels like an outrider, every hair on his body on end, teeth bared. Shen. Zeng choked. I see it, she snapped without turning. Han Fei launched himself downhill but he was too far. Zeng didn't think. He reached for the console in his mind and ripped. / God mode true, he snarled. The world obeyed, stuttering with alarm. Warning, permission tree compromised accessing dev console. Override accepted. Legacy power surged through him so sharply he thought his vision would go white. Stop, he shouted, and pointed at the beast. It froze in mid-leap. Gravity ignored it on command. All 6, 8, 10 of its jointed limbs hung in the air, mid-spring, jaws open. Its light body stuttered like a corrupted frame. Bite skidded to a halt under it, hackles so high he looked twice his size, snarling like something far less domesticated. Yun kept running. She crossed the rope line with the boy and nearly fell to her knees. The moment she was inside, she spun, braced the boy against her hip, and slammed her staff like a spear into the frozen beast's face. The mask shattered. The body dissolved into fraying threads of gold light that burned out in the air like ash. Han Fei skidded to a stop at the boundary, sword still up, breathing hard, face flushed with battle heat and delight. You see that? He panted, grinning at Zeng. You see that? That was good. That was very good. I knew I liked her. Yun was shaking with adrenaline. She didn't look at Han. She looked at Zeng. Don't you ever, she shouted, voice breaking on the edges of fury and fear, ever leave me to run like that again without warning me first. Then her face crumpled and she had to swallow hard to get her breath back, and she hugged the rescued boy so tightly he squeaked. Zeng tried to stand. His body didn't listen. The village was still sitting on him. Everything inside the perimeter hummed, alive, delicate tension. The bell tower vibrated like the tongue of a giant tuning fork. The copper lines buzzed in a way that made his teeth itch. The air shimmered along the makeshift boundary. Rollback light still hovered in the sky above them like a suspended blade. It hadn't pulled back. It had paused. And in that pause, the system spoke again. Unauthorized instance acknowledged. Temporary zone, protected. Purge delayed. Zeng sagged forward, catching himself on his hands. He was shaking so hard his elbows almost buckled. He heard someone running toward him. Han? Yun? No, lighter step. Madame Shen knelt in front of him and grabbed his face in both calloused hands, forcing his eyes up to meet hers. Her expression was not reverence. It was fury and gratitude and something else, raw, astonished grief that hadn't had room to surface until now. You will not die, she said, low and vicious, as if she were bargaining with him instead of physics. Do you understand me? You will not die here in my square. Zeng tried to breathe. I'm fine, he rasped. You are not fine, Madame Shen snapped. You are white as rice paste and shaking like a fever. Han crouched on his other side, brows lifted. He did just hold an illegal instance open against Heaven's will with his bare mind, he observed cheerfully. That'll take the shine off anyone's morning. Yun, still clutching the rescued boy, yelled from the rope line, is he alive? For now, Han called back. Stay that way, Yun shouted at Zeng, voice cracking. You still owe me an explanation and an apology. Bite leapt into Zeng's lap and planted himself there like a weight. Zeng let out a laugh that sounded more like a sob. I'm okay, he managed. I just need, the world tilted. His vision went black at the edges, then inverted. For a moment, he wasn't in Tianling anymore. He was inside light. No. Not light. Code. He was standing in a cavern made of moving glass. Except the glass wasn't solid. It was transparent data. Planes of logic. Slices of cascading script folding and unfolding like slow mechanical pedals. Every line pulsed with stress. Every surface hummed with tension. Cracks ran through it in branching webs, leaking not light but memory. He knew this place. The core. But he wasn't looking at it from the outside now. He was inside the fracture. And there, in the fracture light, something flickered. Not quite a figure. More like a silhouette built from recall. A woman's shape, sitting forward at a desk in bad posture, one hand braced against a forehead in exhaustion, hair tied back in a messy knot because she always forgot to cut it when she got busy. His throat closed. Ling, he whispered. The silhouette turned. Her features didn't resolve. He couldn't see her eyes, her mouth. She wasn't fully there. She was being remembered, not rendered. But the tilt of her head was right. The impatience that was really concern was right. The way she moved was right. And the voice, oh God, the voice, when it came, wasn't a system blend or a patch filter. It was Shu Ling. You idiot, she said softly. Zeng made a sound that was not a laugh and not a sob and somewhere in between. Yeah, he whispered, voice breaking. Hi. You shouldn't have come back, she said. I didn't get a vote, he said. Her hand lifted. Glitched. Flickered. Reappeared. You are making it worse, she said. I'm keeping them alive, he shot back. Silence. The cracked planes of core code hummed like power cables. Yeah, she said at last, and despite everything, despite the situation, despite the fact that she was a remembered echo inside a damaged server mind, he could hear the ghost of a smile in it. That sounds like you. He let out a shaking breath. Ling, listen to me. Can you hear me? Actually hear me? Not long, she said quietly. They're already pulling me down. The core doesn't like that I'm talking to you without going through it first. It thinks I'm contaminated. Yeah, he said softly. We call that escalation of privileges. You're doing crime. Stop making jokes, she said. It's childish. I'm panicking, he said. It's healthy. Her head tilted again, that familiar impatience that's secretly affection. Listen, she said. You have 1 day. Less, now. You know what you have to do next? Yes, he said. You're going to move them, she said. Yes, he breathed. We're going to steal the whole village. Good. There it was again, that small smile in her voice. For a painful second he could almost see her real face superimposed, the soft lines that only showed up when she'd been awake too long, the tiny scar on her chin from when she'd fallen off her aunt's balcony at 9, the way her eyes always went sharp when she was holding on to calm by force because someone had disappointed her by being less brave than she'd hoped. Then her voice shifted. Lower. closer to the system's resonance. It made the hair on his arms lift. And Zeng, she said. Yeah, he whispered. They're not going to let you do this twice. He swallowed. I know. Good, she said again, and then, for the first time since he woke in this world, her tone cracked. Don't break yourself, she whispered. Not yet. I still need you. His vision snapped. The core fell away, and he was back on his knees in Tianling village with Bite in his lap. Han Fei's hand braced firm on his shoulder, Madame Shen's fingers still framing his jaw, Yun's voice still calling his name from the boundary. His pulse was a drum. His lungs worked like bellows. He was shaking so hard his teeth clicked. And high above the village, the split in the sky held. The white rollback wave hung there, frozen mid-collapse, a storm stopped over a single valley. Not gone. Paused. You with us? Han asked quietly. Zeng swallowed. Yeah, he whispered. Yeah. I'm here. How long did we buy? Han said. Zeng let out a shaky breath and wiped his face with the back of his hand. The core says 1 day, he said hoarsely. The patch says less. Han nodded. Good. Zeng laughed weakly. How is that good? Because, Han said, standing and offering him a hand up, if we only had an hour, I'd already be telling them what to pack. With a day? We moved the village. Zeng grabbed his hand and let himself be hauled upright. His legs threatened to fold but held. Madame Shen released his face, smoothed his hair once in a gesture that was almost maternal and almost annoyed that she'd done something maternal, and stood as well. Fine, she said. You heard him. We have until sundown to turn Tianling into something heaven can't find. Chen, start pulling stores. Chen, get every handcart you can still roll. Take only what can't be replaced. Yun nodded sharply. Medical first. Yes, Shen said. We're not starting a new life with no herbs. Take all the poultice jars. And bring the good kettle. The blue one? Yun said. Obviously the blue one, Shen said, scandalized. Voices rose. Bodies moved. Orders snapped like thrown rope. People, still shaking, still pale, still staring at the crack in the sky, began packing like refugees with purpose. Zeng swayed where he stood. Han clapped him on the shoulder. Congratulations, he said, bright with battle high. You just lied to heaven and it believed you. Zeng let out a weak sound that might have been a laugh. Han? Yes? I can't feel my fingers. That's normal, Han said easily. Means you touched something you weren't supposed to. You'll get used to it. Bite climbed up Zeng's chest and draped himself like a scarf under his chin, purring hard enough to vibrate bone. Yun jogged up, eyes running over Zeng like a healer scanning for breaks. Are you hurt? I don't think so, he said. Good, she said, and then jabbed a finger hard into his sternum. Don't ever vanish like that again. Ow, he croaked. She exhaled, shoulders dropping. Relief poured across her face so raw and so naked he almost couldn't look at it. You came back, she whispered, almost to herself. Yeah, he said softly. I came back. Her mouth trembled. She set her jaw so fast it almost clicked, nodded once, then turned and snapped, boil water. Pack dry rice. Not the cracked jar, the other one, no, the other one, the one you swear you were saving for New Year. I don't care, New Year is cancelled. Han watched her go, amused. I like her, he said again. Don't, Zeng muttered, too tired to filter. Han blinked. What? Nothing, Zeng said quickly. Shut up. Han's grin crept back. Ah, he said. Human complications. How refreshing. Zeng scrubbed a shaking hand over his face. We're not doing this right now. No, Han agreed. Right now we're tearing your girlfriend's hometown out of the fabric of heaven and smuggling it through illegal coordinates while being hunted by divine law enforcement. Zeng opened his mouth, then closed it. You know, he said faintly, when you put it that way, it sounds stressful. Han clapped him on the shoulder again, warm and solid and real. Welcome to the rebellion, he said. Zeng let out something that felt halfway to a laugh. Then he lifted his head, looked up at the frozen wound in the sky, and felt something inside him steady. We're not done yet, he whispered to it. To the patch. To the core. To whatever was listening. We're not done. The crack in the sky pulsed once in answer. Not assent. Not surrender. Recognition. And the village of Tianling, still humming inside the circle he'd carved into reality, still alive, began to prepare to steel itself. The air over Tianling hummed like tension in a drawn bow. The crack in the sky hadn't closed. It hadn't retreated either. It hung there, vertical and pale, like a blade waiting to fall, a white seam that leaked slow, drifting light down into the valley. The light didn't behave like sunlight. It didn't scatter. It just descended, in long straight curtains, like data being pushed. Every so often, the seam pulsed. Every time it pulsed, Zeng felt pressure behind his eyes, like a headache building from the inside. He didn't have long. None of them did. And there was still work. Han Fei moved like a conductor through chaos. Copper line tight, he barked, jogging past two men knotting wire to a fence post. No slack. You want heaven thinking you're a sealed event zone, not a leaky fishing net. Yes, over, under, loop again, pull, good. Tie it. Now mark it with talisman. Mark what with talisman? One of the men grunted, hands shaking on the wire. This, Han said, grabbing one of Yun's inked papers and slapping it against the post. He tapped the dark linework with 2 fingers. This is not just a charm. This is a lie. You paste the lie onto the rope. The rope becomes the lie. Heaven reads the rope. Heaven believes the rope. You understand? The man looked him dead in the eyes and said, voice flat, I farm rice. Han blinked. Right. Okay. New version. Heaven is nosy and stupid. We are hiding from someone nosy and stupid. These signs tell heaven to mind its own business. The farmer's shoulders eased a fraction. Ah, he said. Good. Great, Han said. Keep pasting. Paste like my life depends on it? The farmer asked. Han flashed a grin. Exactly like that. Zeng stood in the center of the square, swaying slightly on his feet. He could still feel the tether he'd forced into place, the instance, Tianling ritual zone flag holding steady like a force field around the village. It wasn't a visible dome, exactly, it was more like a harmonic. A pressure. The air inside their perimeter felt denser, slightly off from the air beyond it, like stepping inside a sealed room. He realized, distantly, that he could tell exactly who was inside and who wasn't. He couldn't see them. He could feel them. Every living presence inside the circle registered to him now, lit like points on a mental map. Yun, inside, fast moving, hot and bright, crackling, unsteady from adrenaline. Madame Shen, inside, controlled, stable, like a slow, focused burn. Han Fei, at the perimeter, popping in and out of range in quick pulses, like someone flicking a lighter on and off. Bite, a tiny sun at his feet. And everyone else. 62 signatures, if he was counting right. 62 people who would vanish if that seam in the sky dropped. Don't look at it, he muttered to himself through his teeth. Just hold it. Don't look at it, just hold it together. Then, out loud, because his body was shaking and his mouth was dry and he refused to give panic room. Yun. Shen. Status. Yun looked up from where she was cramming a roll of bandage cloth, jars of salve, and 3 packets of herbs into a travel satchel. Medical pack, she said, clipped, efficient. 2 pots of boiled water, 3 jars of alcohol, needles, thread. I have poultice for fever, poultice for swelling, poultice for bleeding, and a poultice my aunt swore would cure heartbreak but mostly tastes like mud and garlic. I brought that too. I assume we will need it. Her eyes flicked over it. You're pale. You need sugar. I'm fine, Zeng said. Yun pointed at him. You. Sit. Sweet rice. Now. I said I'm fine, he repeated. Her stare did not move. He sighed. Okay, healer. I'll sit. He sat on an overturned basket. Bite hopped up onto his lap immediately, curled there, and pinned him down with full smug body weight. Madame Shen strode past with the authority of an officer and the mouth of a dock worker. If it's not alive or nailed down, pack it, she barked. If it's nailed down, unnail it. Leave grain you can replace. Bring seeds you can. Bring clean tools. Bring blankets. Bring the good pots. Leave the cracked pots. Don't argue with me about the cracked pots, Liao, we are not honoring your grandmother's cookware in the new world if it leaks. Liao sulked, but he left the cracked pot. Children ran like darting fish, arms full of bowls and bundles. An older woman stacked dried peppers into cloth sacks with the speed of a seasoned smuggler. 2 teenage boys were trying, badly, to carry an entire chicken coop between them, chickens still in it, chickens looking deeply offended. Put that down, Shen snapped. You can carry the chickens. You cannot carry the coop. Chickens have legs. Coops have weight. We can't lose the coop, one of the boys protested. My uncle built it. He says the roof is blessed. Then bless some twigs later, Shen said. Move. There wasn't screaming. There wasn't chaos. Fear, yes, tight faces, fast breathing, hands that shook, but the village moved with hard purpose. People that had lost everything before doesn't stop to scream when it's time to run. This isn't their first disaster, Zeng thought, and felt something unpleasant and admiring twist in his chest. He checked the tether again. Still holding. Still flagged as temporary. Still tricking the system. That's right, he told the world at large. We're just a harmless ritual zone. Spiritual nonsense. Special event. Absolutely not a population you care about. Go look at your own reflection. The seam in the sky pulsed again. The ground vibrated. No. Not ground. The anchor he'd made, the false instance frame around Tianling, trembled, like something testing it from outside. He swayed. Han's voice cut sharp through the square. Time check. Madame Shen didn't look up from barking orders. Nightfall, she said. We move at nightfall. Zeng blinked. Why nightfall? Han didn't even turn. Because it's harder to see a thief in the dark. Ah, Zeng said. Right. Obvious in hindsight. An older woman came up behind him and shoved a steaming bowl into his hands. Eat, she said. She locked eyes with him. Eat, child. Yes, ma'am, he said automatically. He ate.